Hello, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamlin. Gonna be here. I'm gonna pop out of our infinite video thing here. So we're gonna be talking about performance category today. Reviewing mostly just how to kind of get started writing a script, how to find scene selections, build characters, build quotes, and then not only that, how many words you kind of want to shoot for a 10-minute performance. A lot of my students ask me, like, how many words do we need? It kind of depends on how fast you're going to plan on reading. More characters you have, the less words you need, just because when you have more characters, there's going to be natural pauses, there's going to be more action, there's going to be more things that are happening, so you're going to need less script in general. Whereas if you're up there by yourself, it's going to be looking and sounding really awkward if you do nothing and say nothing. So we'll go over that in a bit, but first, let's jump into how to get to where we are. So looking at here, we're on the design pages, so 5 categories in National History Day. Looking for creating a performance, number 4, and I'll take you down here. And we've already gone through first step, we've already gone through the second step, and we're kind of landing on the third step here. This is writing doc for performances. So if you're another teacher or a student following along with me, you want to open one of those up. It's right here, number 1, and it takes you to this. If you're my students, I want you just to open up yours. You already have a thesis. You already have even maybe some scripts started. So you need to just open yours up, okay? So I'll pause the video if you need to, but go ahead and go get yours open. So hopefully that was enough time for you to get your stuff done. And you have your script now. So we're actually going to zoom back up a little bit to second step. You know, we have our thesis, but we also really need to start thinking of how to prove it. And I think the performance category is probably the hardest one to prove your thesis, just because there's so much you can do that a lot of times you become overwhelmed. It is a theatrical performance, so you really can just make up whatever you want. Now, you're going to base it off primary sources. You're going to explain what those are in a paper that you have to write later. But, you know, for the most part, you don't actually have to show a lot of primary sources on set with you. In fact, you don't have to show any if you don't want to. I've seen plenty of performances that made it to nationals who don't do it at all. And it's just basically you trying to prove your thesis through a very oral, audio, visual way. So it can be a little complicated. I'm going to try to simplify it right now as far as getting things started. So we have a writing doc. We have our thesis. One thing I will say before we get going is in our thesis, I want you to go ahead and delete everything. Or I take that back. Keep your thesis. Just here's the deal. A lot of you have started with a thesis and a rough draft, and you edited it. If you have partners, sometimes you had more than one thesis. I want you to only have one, though. So if you have like anything other than just your 3 to 5 sentence thesis, get rid of it. You should only have your thesis, okay? And it should really only be, I told my students 2 to 3 sentences. Some teachers say 4 to 5, whatever. Really, it shouldn't be any bigger than that, but keep it in that box only. Nothing else should be in that box. No bullet points, no outlines, no scene stuff, nothing. Just your thesis, okay? So you get your thesis, it's in there, and we have these boxes down here. It says scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, and that is exactly what we need and want. So we got that, and we're going to go into this again. Let's see. Here we go. So it says how it should be judged. We're going to pass that. We're going to focus on these things. Go ahead and open all this stuff up. Every single link, the sample, the quick tips, scene description worksheet, character description, scene selection, everything, okay? And if you've already done a lot of this stuff, I still want you to listen because I want you to review. If you've done none of this, then you definitely need to get caught up. I'm going to go ahead and just start with performance rough draft. We're looking at this stuff. And here's the deal. You can either print this stuff off or you can do this on a Google Doc, but this is what's going to be due on Friday. For my students, you're going to need to turn this stuff in later, and you're just going to make sure you get this stuff done, okay? So looking at this first one, we need a title. You need to actually title your project right now. You can pick whatever title you want, and we'll go over that more in class, but you do need to give it some kind of rough draft title, and we're going to probably change the title quite a bit, kind of like your thesis, but give it some kind of title. I want descriptions of characters. It's the next big thing. So down here it says who is in the play, what role will they be. So each person, if you have multiple people in your group, they need to have multiple people there. Every single person in the group has to perform. There can be some people that have a bigger role than others, but everyone has to be reading lines. Everyone has to be performing in some way or some fashion. So we have all these characters. You're going to name yourself, name the character. You can have more than one character. If you have more than 4, make sure to just create more. Get a Google Doc, write the back of this, and just explain who it is. I have an example right here. Martin Luther King. He was the main leader of the civil rights movement. Blah blah blah. That's really all I need for that. I just need a character list with descriptions. Okay, so that, again, that is going to be due in a week. And then moving on, settings and scenes. You can print this sheet out as well if you need to, but if you want to do it on a Google Doc and show me, that's absolutely fine. Settings and scenes. You need to very briefly tell me each scene. So, where is it happening? When is it happening? What is the main action? So, like, what is the main point of this scene? Every scene has to have a main point. And remember, every scene has to back up your thesis. That's the entire point of all this. Why does a scene help us understand your thesis better? What does the scene do to either give us background information, or what does it do to give us evidence to prove your thesis is right? So think about all the primary source stuff we've done, all the analysis, all the reading, all the thinking, like all that stuff. How can you make scenes to prove your point? That's the entire thing we want to do. And admittedly, that can be very hard. So if you need help, ask a friend, ask a parent, ask another teacher, ask me, and I'll be happy to help you. But you have to have at least 3 scenes, so describe them for me, what they are. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, pretty simple. Here's the interesting thing that a lot of people don't forget, is they don't think about the quotes that they can pull from. Think about the primary sources you've looked at, like all the diaries, letters, newspapers, billboard, everything. Like, there's a lot of primary sources, and you guys have thought about and hopefully seen a lot of quotes. Put them in your performance. Like, those are really easy, already made lines. Like, you guys could actually save yourself a lot of time by doing that. And down here it says 1, 2, and 3. If you print it, you're obviously only going to get 3 spots, but if you want to write more, you should. I mean, the more quotes you find, the better. The less time you're going to be spending making up your own stuff. So put in quotes, sprinkle them throughout your script, because it's going to really strengthen your overall argument and save you a lot of time writing. So again, I want these 2 things printed or done on a Google Doc. I want them by Friday. You don't really need to worry about this one. Again, it's just describing scenes. So as long as you do it on this sheet or the other, I don't care. But you do need to describe your scenes, okay? So again, print that one if you want to. And then finally, we have this. This is a sample script. So it says Queen of the Reds, Rebellion of Emma Goldman, script outline. So here's the deal. If you really haven't started your script yet, or you're feeling very uncomfortable with your script, this could be a really good way to get started. So if I would look at this, I see 5 scenes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have an introduction, a becoming a famous anarchist, anarchist influences, anarchist independence, and conclusion. And it looks like an essay script or an essay outline. So if you want to draw yours out like this, or even if you already have a lot of info and you need to still write, at least get an outline going. Like, an outline is better than nothing. So start with an outline, write those details in, and then we can build more of like what we're actually going to say on stage. So if you haven't started a script yet, do this outline format at least, but you do need to plan on getting much farther ahead next week, so we need to do a reading. So we have this outline right here, and it even actually shows you what the script eventually looks like. So you can kind of see there's obviously more than 5 paragraphs because these are sections. And I did the liberty for you. I already copy and pasted it into this thing, so we're going to go ahead and just do this. So if you want to know how many words you have, or how many words you need roughly to get a script going, I'm going to show you. If you copy and paste all your script into one of these boxes and hit Tools and then Word Count, this one's about 1,465 words. And in my experience, that is about a 10-minute performance. Whenever I do any reading or whenever I do a presentation, normally if I read 10 pages double spaced, and that's about 30,000 words, that normally gets me to about 20-25 minutes. So 1,500 words is about the limit you want to shoot for. And remember though, if you are reading with more than one person, it is automatically going to be more than that, or less than that, because the more people you have, the more confusing things get, the more actions. And so just really, I would say shoot for between 1,200 and 1,500 words. If you're an individual or a smaller group, you're going to be on that bigger side. If you're a bigger group, you're going to be on the smaller side. So that's pretty much it. Just so for my performance category, this coming Friday will be the script reading day. So what you're expected to do is have a paper script in your hand, and you are expected to read it in front of a camera. That is the only way I can share this with potential judges. It's the only way I can share this with people to critique you, because they really have no other way of understanding your script. We will actually share the script though with them too, just so they have a decent understanding of what's happening. So plan on Friday having a script ready, and on Friday plan on having it read on video. If you don't have it in class, you'll have to stay after school and do it. So performances, this is probably your big week. I know last week was websites, the week before that was exhibits. But for this week, this is your big week to have a lot of stuff due and a lot of stuff done. So it's going to be a bit, probably a confusing week. So if you have questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. That's pretty much all I got. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So if you're my students, go ahead and close the computer or move on. So everyone else, thanks for listening to that. My name's Taylor, and we try to do these videos to help out students, especially when you consider. Here, I'll show you. Get out of my infinite screens. Looking at where to go. There we are. Looking at all these different categories. We have 5 different categories, so the question always becomes like, how on earth do you coach 5 different categories that are very complicated and different from one another, and how do you actually juggle all that and manage it? The best solution I've had is these design pages and also these videos I make. So if you have, if you want to share these with your students, feel free. I understand though if you want to explain it yourself. I feel that way too. If you have any just questions I can help with, let me know. We do have a video description. I'll put all these links and stuff I talked about tonight in those. If you want to see anything else that we've done, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Facebook, we have a website. It has like a blog and a vlog and all this other stuff that we've been doing. So if you're curious about this stuff, feel free to steal. I make this stuff for free because I want people to have that the opportunity to work on it. And yeah, if you have any questions or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. So feel free to post on the YouTube video. Feel free to post on the Facebook. That's pretty much it for me. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you later. Bye.